lunch with spies? I'm just a salesman.
Exactly. You're a civilian, so the KGB won't be watching.
It would be a real service to Great Britain.
What do you want me to do?
You know, if you've been waiting for secret agent films like James Bond, No Time to Die, you know the pandemic has messed up that movie's release schedule. But if you want a really realistic take, perhaps, on secret agents, Benedict Cumberbatch has something for you as of today, a brand new film called The Courier, which is available now to stream online. And Eli is here for our Friday check-in and review. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm glad to see you on that. And we should tell people you're going to hear from Benedict Cumberbatch in Eli's reporting because he's done an interview with him. But this is an interesting film based on a true story, as I understand it, Eli.
Yeah, fantastic true story. News to me. I imagine he's quite well known in Britain. And you mentioned Bond. I mean, I think what makes The Courier such an interesting story is that he is the anti-Bond. I mean, this is kind of like a reality check on 007, but it's a true life tale of double agents. It all takes place around the run-up to the Cuban Missile Crisis. So the world really felt like it was on the brink of World War III. And the middle of it all, with his tie and little mustache, there he is, Greville Wynne, as played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Not a secret agent, a salesman of industrial engineering equipment. There's a wonderful opening scene where we see him at this posh country club whining and dining his clients, the model of good humor, and then the second those clients leave, the mask drops. And he's just a guy trying to make a sale. He's exhausted, goes home to the wife and kids, has a whiskey, puts the legs up until a couple people he knows from board and trade, of course, but they're actually MI6 and CIA, they approach him because there's a very important situation. A highly placed source in the Soviet Union is worried about the escalation between the USSR and USA. And they're looking to smuggle information out, but the KGB are watching the Soviet too closely. But Greville has the perfect alibi. He has international experience. He would fly under the Soviets' radar. The only thing is, Heather, he finds the whole idea preposterous. Take a look.
I can't believe you're bloody serious.
We've gone over it with Penkovsky. We believe the risk to you is minimal, and we'll pay you.
I make my own money. Thank you very much. I have a wife and a child. Either of you have a family? Oh, no. Don't suppose you could tell me about that. Not a lot you can tell me about, is there, Helen? James.
You get a sense there of this salesman's pride and I think, frankly, his anger at even being approached. Now, I had a chance, as you mentioned, to do one of those virtual junkets and interview Benedict Cumberbatch as he was shooting the sequel to Doctor Strange. And I talked to him about that moment I noticed, where as a salesman, the mask drops and you see already how he's able to have different layers just as an existence as someone trying to wine and dine clients. And if that kind of layer of duplicity attracted him to the role, and here's what Benedict had to say. Talk to me about those layers, and I wonder if that's part of what drew you to it.
There are many things that drew me to the role, but you're right, that's a key part of it. You know, mask play, I think I said before, you know, spying roles for actors are sort of meat and drink because you get to play so many layers of meaning. You get to reveal things to the audience that aren't revealed to characters in scenes and vice versa. Just it's a very complex system of signaling, and that's intriguing.
It really is quite the feast of a character that he gets to play, the pride, the ambition. He's a social climber. And when he's called on by Queen and Country, he does rise to the occasion. But the nature of the assignment, he's not able to explain what's happening with his family, which becomes, as you might imagine, a bit of a tough thing to handle.
If you're a fan of the spy movie genre, what are you going to think of The Courier, Eli?
I think you need to temper your expectations because, you know, I think spies, I think Cold War, I think John le Carré, I think tradecraft and spies leaving drop boxes and secret signals. But really, the terrain of The Courier is a story of psychology and paranoia and eventually the friendship that develops between Penkovsky and Greville, but doesn't start in a great place. Let's take a look when they first meet.
They would hold you to trade for one of theirs.
How long?
A couple of years.
Oh, just a couple of years, rotting in some Russian gulag.
They will not catch us. The KGB will have no idea. Listen, I'm better at this than they are.
Fine.
There you go. But the bond between these two men really develops over time to the point where Greville is actually willing to put himself in harm's way, kind of like a James Bond, but in a much more realistic fashion. Now, the movie also stars Rachel Brosnahan as a CIA agent, Angus Wright as the MI6 agent, but really, this is a vehicle for Benedict and this salesman who turns out to have a skill set he never knew would be that useful. So I give it 4 stars out of 5.
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Any thought about just the whole process about how COVID is affecting the movie business, the release of movies? Did you talk to him about that at all?
I did have a chance to ask him about that. And, the thing about Benedict Cumberbatch, like, he is a creature of the stage, the theater world, and of course the silver screen. So he really is missing that live audience experience. And as I mentioned, as I was speaking with him, he is shooting the sequel to the Marvel movie Doctor Strange in London. And I asked him about just what we're missing right now with so many theaters closed.
It is tough. I think that we are losing this idea of what the communal experience is. And having had a couple in the brief moments we've had respite from restrictions, it's an incredibly powerful, moving thing to reinvigorate, to be part of again. And it will be slightly overwhelming. Yes, there'll be anxiety. Of course there will be with any kind of gathering over a certain number inside. But I think we've got to strive to get back to something of that.
Now, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch stressed that we have to make safe choices and there's nothing wrong with streaming films at home when it makes sense and it is the best possible option. But there is something, and he said rather wistfully, special about sharing those moments in the dark in a theater packed with people. And he, like myself, looks forward to the day when we can do that safely again.
Eli, thank you very much. Eli with his review. And again, 4 stars for The Courier. Thanks.
You're welcome.